Greetings, YouTube. A bit of an addendum. My wife and I just got back from our Bennington, Vermont road trip, and along the way, we actually did pick up a few things. My wife got herself a book, Food from Harvest Festivals and Folk Fairs, the Best Recipes from, and a guide to food happenings across the nation by Anita Borghese, which has a number of interesting kind of ethnic festival type foods in it. We picked it up at a antiquarian bookshop that didn't have horrible prices. And then we hit a community yard sale today, and I picked up 3 things for a total of $3. One is a tape gun. The tape is mine, but I've been looking for a tape gun for $1. You can't beat. The original price on this was $9, and I'm sure it would cost me more now. A rolling pin. We didn't have this style of rolling pin around the house, so now we do. We had a conventional rolling pin. And a bowl, which has got a pattern inside, and the person put varying degree of detail on the outside. Some decent glazing, and I don't think you can see it, but there actually is a name engraved in the bottom. Yeah, you can do it right there. There's an initials engraved in the bottom. So somebody sold this at the yard sale because they didn't want it. But I have a deep and abiding love of handmade bowls, particularly if they're done by amateurs, and I think this probably was. But I thought it was rather well executed, and for $1, it's a whole lot more interesting than a commercial bowl. You know what I mean? But today's trip was 229 miles round trip, and that's the furthest I have ever driven in my entire life in one day. Yes, I know it's not impressive for most people, but I was impressed. The destination we went there today, a place called the Gamers Grotto, was a bit of a dud. They had a very small role-playing game section, a lot of 4th edition things, but of course hold no interest for me, and a lot of 3rd edition stuff, which appeared to be new, like it wasn't used, and they just never sold it. So they were asking full cover price for everything they had, which isn't something I'm interested in. And I brought some 1st edition AD&D books to see if they were interested in those, and they weren't. So it was pretty much a complete wash. But they did have a nice play area for people who wanted to use their space for gaming. They had a dedicated space for miniatures, lots of board games, and they had 7 televisions with flat screens set up with video game systems, consoles dedicated to those. So it was a game space, definitely, and it's a college town. What was that, sweetie?
Very nice owner.
Yes, the owner as well was very pleasant. We had a chance to chat with him, and he had a pet hedgehog there, which was quite interesting. But you know, it wasn't a horrible trip. We went to a brewery/restaurant. My wife had a very good maple porter, and I had bangers and mash, so it wasn't an entire waste of the trip. And the footage, as you saw, was quite impressive.